Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Soul Food Sundays. I hope that this message finds you well and that you guys have had an awesome week. And as we move into a brand new week, I will be bringing a nourishing message for you guys that can better help you navigate whatever it is that you will be facing in the upcoming week or whenever you are energetically led to this video. I understand that not everyone is catching the video on a weekly basis, and so we also know that time is infinite, so the message may not apply for this upcoming week, but you may find in due time that it hits home for you. And we are in Scorpio season, which is a time of not only diving deep and cultivating intimacy within ourselves, but also or with ourselves, but also with others. And it's a awesome time energetically for shadow work. It's starting to get colder, and here where I am, it just seemed like we just about to skip fall. And I don't know how I feel about it because I like fall. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's feeling real winterish out here in these streets. Like, Elsa and her people are having their way, especially in the mornings. Like, the temps are like in the 30s, and I'm like, this ain't fall, this winter. But whatever the case, we are blessed to see each and every day that God opens our eyes, and so I'm not going to take for granted that blessed opportunity. And I am just going to be grateful to be alive no matter what the weather is looking like. But we're going to be pulling from the Lantern Oracle this week in this week's reading, which is a great oracle deck to use when you are doing shadow work. Hold on, y'all. I need to take a sip of my tea. I fixed me a delicious cup of blueberry green tea, and it's calling my name. Yes, God, that's good. That's good to my soul right there. So yeah, the Lantern Oracle card is good for doing shadow work, and it says illuminate the shadows and empower your path, and that is exactly what I am here to do, to help guide and point you in the right direction and empower you as you are on your journey of soul discovery, of self-discovery. So, as you know, we don't bust no moves over here at Turquoise Majesty without prayer. So I am going to pray, and then we're going to get into the reading. So Father God, Mother Earth, ancestors and spirit guides, we come to you in this moment in the spirit of gratitude and reverence for all that you are, to tell you thank you and to ask that you bring forth the best messages for our highest good as a collective. As we know that the universe is going through many shifts and changes, we ask, dear God, that you bring forth the best message for our highest good so that we are better equipped to shift and change as well. We ask that you bring forth the best message for our highest good as we explore our shadows so that we may better move forward into the light, dear God. Amen. So let's see here. I don't know where I got that let's see him from. I'm just country. I guess stuff like that just come natural. Like, I ain't have to get it from somewhere. It just is what it is. Spirit, what message you have for the collective at this time? Broken dreams, number 23. Breaking down to a 5. There's some change needing or going to take place. In this image here, we have a woman with an egg that has been cracked. Eggs are symbolic of birth. So something has not been birthed and she is in tears, and there's a mirror that is shattered. So what that is saying to me is there's some things about us that need to change within us about what has not come to fruition for us and how we feel about that thing not coming to fruition for us, be it the disappointment or whatever, because it's showing up in how we view ourselves with this crack in the mirror. It's showing up with how we see ourselves, the doubt that lives within us because of past hurts or failures. The second card to come out was the number 25, emotional energy, which breaks down to a 7. That's a totally different energy there. This woman here almost looks like a butterfly, colorful and moving gracefully. Let me move these cards so I can have some room. Oh, I think we got 4. And I'm going to read all of them. The number 16 here breaking down to another number 7. 25 giving us a 7 and 16 giving us a 7. That's a spiritual message, a spiritual lesson, a spiritual experience coming through for us. The melting mask. And number 36, confusion. Back into their darkness. Lying in the sea. This woman is lying, looks like at the shore, in darkness with lightning flashing, and a light, looks like a light on her stomach, like she doesn't know which way to go, but there's a light shining for someone to come and rescue her. So we are going to read the messages that are coming through here in the book intuitively. I'm telling you, this is some deep work being called in for us to clear up some of the confusion that we are experiencing about how we are supposed to move in this season of our life. It's requiring that we dive deep, especially in this Scorpio season, to melt the mask that we often wear around people, or that we've been conditioned to wear to show up in this world and to fit in. So without me going on and on, I really want to read the messages from the book, and then I will share with you guys what the message on the card on the top of the deck and the card on the bottom of the deck says or reveals. So starting with number 23, broken dreams. Only you can accept or reject your dreams. We break our dreams when we cease to believe in them and ourselves. Our attitude toward disappointment, I told you. I knew this card, this image in the card 23 is screaming disappointment of something that did not come to fruition. Our attitude toward disappointment, perceived failures, and rejection has the power to derail our confidence. When a prolonged state of defeat and doubt ensues, we not only give up our dreams and ourselves, but also on what makes us feel alive. One thing I was thinking about as I was laying in the bed and taking my time about jumping into my day, I was just sitting up and thinking and reflecting. And I was thinking about how so often we will turn a moment into a season just by holding ourselves hostage with our thoughts and our emotions, when we don't take responsibility, accountability, or take charge and authority over our thoughts and our emotions. We will allow something that was meant to come and teach us, or that we were meant to experience in a moment, to turn into a month, a year, 4 years, a decade. You got your feelings hurt in a moment, and because you didn't allow yourself to move through it and beyond it, your feelings been hurt for 10 years about that one thing. And it's a matter of awareness and knowing that we can move beyond that, instead of, like this message is saying, allowing it to become a prolonged state of defeat and doubt. It can be hard, But we need to trust that the way to realize our dreams is by persisting and working with the disappointments as well as any perceived failures or rejections. Perceived setbacks are often opportunities to learn to think differently, to develop further, and to explore new ways of realizing our vision. When we interpret and therefore turn challenges into actual setbacks, it can feel like the world has rejected us. In response to this feeling, we give up too soon. The world does not reject us. It cannot. Of course, it may feel like it does, but what it is more likely to have transpired is that certain individuals, organizations, and opportunities have said no to us for one thing at one point in time. The world is full of many more individuals, organizations, and opportunities if we continue to say yes to ourselves. That is the law of attraction. The more we continue to say yes to ourselves, we attract yeses from those, as this saying here, individuals, organizations, and opportunities. The universe is going to say yes to you when you start to say yes to yourself. But if you allow those moments of disappointment, heartbreak, rejection, defeat to linger and to be prolonged and to take over you instead of you taking over them, learning the lesson and moving forward, you'll continue to say no to yourself. And the universe will continue to say no to you because you're not in a state of receptivity. You've shut down at that point. So we need to be mindful as we are doing our shadow work of just how and where we are shut down, where we are energetically saying no and therefore attracting no's to us, be it in our love life, our career, our finances, our healing emotionally, our inner child healing, whatever it is. If you are holding on to something that it is time for you to release and let go of, you have ample opportunity to do so. There are resources available for you to do so. If you're looking for ways to specifically do that because you just don't know which way to go, book a reading with me. We can check in with the spirit to see what messages come forth, some action items to lead you in the right direction. But we have got to let go of some of this baggage. And a lot of times that baggage looks like the hurt and disappointment from previous experiences that we have just not healed or allowed ourselves to release. So it says, in the instance that constructive feedback is given, it can be helpful to consider seriously what is said. We may become aware of something useful. At times, we may also benefit and develop from seeking out another's informed point of view or ongoing mentorship. However, what remains crucial to the realization of our dreams is focused persistence, appropriate practice, and training and the right timing. People, circumstances, and many other variables outside of our awareness and control need to line up. Furthermore, we need to be ready for our dreams to come true so that success does not have a distorting effect on us. To abandon your dreams is to abandon yourself. There is no need for this. The Guardian encourages you to explore ways of doing what you love differently. Be flexible with the way that you go about realizing your vision will save you from much unnecessary heartache, regret, lost time, and despair. The mere mention of guardian and guardianship in this reading takes me back to last week's reading where we got a message from the Angel and Ancestors deck, and we had 3 or 4 guardian cards to come out in that reading. I strongly advise that you all, if you have not already, or even if you have, review that reading again, because there are some guardianship messages coming through, and it may just be from your angel guides, your guardian angels, or spirit energies that are coming to lead you in the right direction, away from these energies of disappointment that have held you stagnant, and towards an energy that allows you, as it says here in this commentary, to focus on being persistent, to focus on the appropriate practice for what it is that you want to do the appropriate training, and also being patient and open to allowing things to unfold in the appropriate timing. Divine timing is so important. And when I tell you, baby, I am preaching to the choir, because I am not naturally the most patient person. Like, I am so impatient. When I want some, I want what I want when I want it. And it literally takes for Jesus to come and sit on my bedside and be like, girl, I said wait and I meant wait, and you gon' wait. And it's gonna be worth the wait. Now stop bugging me. Like, it's like that with me, you know. So, especially with having this gift, because God will show me what is for me. And once I get it, I'm like, okay, well, give it to me then. And it's like, no, girl, it's the process. Chill out. You know what I'm saying? I have to relinquish control and know that God is in control. And you have to relinquish and release control and know that God is in control. So this card comes with a guardian message that says, do what makes you feel alive in your life. Never lose sight of what lights you up and makes your spirit self sing no matter what. I, in my shadow work, have been combating personally the spirit of procrastination. And that thing lies so deep down within me. But what I am learning from listening to different master teachers and from reading is that that is a fear that is deep-seated within us, that is focused on some past disappointment or some past fear and not focused on the here and now. And so the more I practice staying present and in the now moment, the more I can focus on what it is that I need to pursue, that I need to be doing, that I want to be doing, or what I'm being led to do, instead of procrastinating or distracting myself. So the next message is number 25, emotional energy, which, like I said, breaks down to a number 7, and it's all about mastery. 7's about mastery and spirituality. So the way for us to master getting, I ain't gonna say getting over, healing and moving beyond our broken dreams and how that has affected us, is to nurture and cultivate our emotional energy. It says emotions are messengers to be met with appropriate attention, action, and gratitude. Notice most times when I pray to my spirit team, I let them know I'm coming to you with a spirit of gratitude, because I am thankful for all that you do and all that you are. We have to be appreciative of what we have and open to what is to come. Because as long as you're sitting there envying, mad, stewing and brewing over what you don't have, your emotional energy is going to always be in flux. You're never going to be grounded. So let's see what the message for emotional energy is bringing to us. Emotion is energy. Each emotion vibrates somewhere different along the spectrum of high to low frequency. The positive emotions have a higher energetic frequency, and they are light and vibrant, like this lady here. This card here is, this message is so, the message that is coming through the image is such a vibrant, colorful energy. That is the personification of being high vibrational. When you're high vibrational, if people are able to see auras, they ought to see you like her, like the image that she is projecting here. It says the vibrant, the colorful, the uncomfortable, baby. I'm just making up stuff as if I'm not looking at the page. The uncomfortable or negative emotions have a slower energetic frequency. They are denser and therefore heavier. Calm is neutral and located at the center of the spectrum. It is our optimal homeostatic setting and the equilibrium to which our bodies seek to return in response to any deviation. Uncomfortable emotions that we neglect can potentially result in unhealthy suppression or outbursts of reactive behavior and thoughts that take us in circles that spiral downward. These are the frequent and unfortunate consequences to inaccurately thinking that some emotions are bad, wrong, or without value. Knowing how our emotional life either propels us forward, sets us off course, or becomes a stagnating force is integral to learning how to use them for empowerment. Once you tap into this, those broken dreams that you are being called to face and heal, you'll become more empowered. You'll be able to step into this energy of colorfulness. You know, when you're low vibrational, I imagine, because that's a gift that I haven't tapped into yet, being able to see people or people's aura. People in low vibrational energy, I imagine they look like they walking through it with a cloud of smoke around them. Real dull, no vibrancy, no color, no life. You know what I'm saying? Because they're low vibrational. And those are the type of people who are not empowering. They drain you. And so you have to be mindful of your energy, the energy that you bring to the table, as well as the energy that you allow around you. You only want empowering energy around you. You only want to bring empowering energy into the fold. Emotions are, by nature's design, our necessary frontier allies. Their roles are to assist us in surviving and thriving. If you are not familiar with the difference between surviving and thriving, some time ago I did an episode of co-creating on surviving and thriving, and I'm going to put that card in the video. Check that out so that you can get more familiar with what surviving and thriving looks like, because ultimately we want to thrive. We don't want to just show up and wake up every day to survive. However, until we work effectively with those energies, with our emotions, the second remains an unrealized potential, that they are our allies. The messages our emotions communicate to us are important and worthy of being made a priority. They are the body's, which is part of the unconscious, way of talking to you. When we adequately engage with our emotions, they can function as the keys that revitalize the healthy flow of our vital life force. It is when we neglect how we feel that emotions become the oppressive confusion and inaction that suspends us. Our emotions and their stories require us to know them so that we understand their context. Knowing the meaning and significance that each emotion's backstory holds is necessary for deciphering the coded language that they speak, and the core needs to be met in our present. Two things that I have learned here recently in my self-studies over the past few weeks is that, one, there is a concept of fight, flight, and freeze, fight, and flight. Most of us are familiar with what fight or flight, the concept of fight or flight, which is basically what many of us who have experienced neglect or abandonment in some shape or form resort to subconsciously. We don't feel safe, and we feel like every situation is calling us to either fight or take flight. But one thing we need to consider also, there are some things lying dormant in us, in our unconscious or subconscious, that are causing us to freeze, that are keeping us stagnant, that is perpetuating procrastination. Our dreams are not able to unfold and come true. We are not able to step into our highest self and our highest frequency, because there are things that are lying within us that our emotions are trying to alert us to, or trying to lead us to heal, or to make us aware of, that are making us, just keeping us stagnant. We're not taking flight or taking flight or fighting. We just freezing. And the second thing that I've come into awareness of is just the concept that there are things that we are conscious of. There are things that lie within our subconscious that affect us, but there are also things that lie beneath the subconscious that are in our unconscious. We're not aware. But just because we're not aware of those things, those patterns, those traumas, those fears, that does not mean that they are not there. And so shadow work is doing the work to come to bring those unconscious patterns within us through the subconscious and to the conscious. And one of the greatest ways to do that is to be mindful of, aware of, good stewards of our emotional energy. So it says, essentially, emotions are the gateway to our inner child. They need our time, patience, and adequate caretaking to work their alchemy in our life. If you are not yet particularly attuned to your emotions, now is the time to become so. That's an action item, y'all. Now is the time. Get familiar and attuned to your emotions. Pay attention to how you feel. Start by frequently checking in with how you feel and making a note of it in your journal at least 3 times a day. Include notes on what you're doing, what you're thinking, your location, and the individuals in your company. That's going to be the best way to tighten up, to become a good steward of your emotions. After a week of recording these aspects, look at your answers, reflect, color code your emotions to notice the patterns and themes. Take the dominant emotion that you have experienced over the week and invite it to write you a letter. Place the hand that you do not write with over your heart and jot down what the emotion has to say. Then write a letter back with compassion and gratitude toward the message the emotion has given to you. You may also wish to write a letter to a desired emotion that is either absent or was not as dominant in your week as you would have liked. Once this is done, have it write you a letter back to feel the full potential that emotions have to transform the way you experience life. Make this journal exercise a regular and ongoing practice. The featured guardian's emotional maturity shines from her as white light. She's learned to master her emotions by creatively directing their energy into realizing her desire. She's shown up to assure you that your emotions will work in your favor once you become aware of and respond appropriately to their true message. The guardian message here is shooting the emotional messengers for containing news that you do not like or want is as effective as shooting yourself in the foot over the need for a new pair of shoes. The job of emotions is to help you to navigate your way safely and successfully through life. Let them. Let your emotions do their job. Stop blocking them. Stop hiding them. Stop suppressing them. Let the things that you feel come up because you are feeling them for a reason. It's like when you are driving and you're running out of gas and your gas light come on. Your emotions are going to let you know when you are running out of gas. When you are running out of good energy, the energy that helps you to thrive, when something does not feel right to you, or if something gives you joy, because of course, you know, emotions have a long range and they're not all bad. There are good emotions also, but in order to increase feeling those good emotions, you need to be aware of and in tune with what it is that makes you feel good. What makes you feel comfortable and at home? What makes you feel like you're wrapped up in a warm blanket? What makes you feel like laughing from the gut? Those are all emotional displays. And if you're ever going to increase those types of feelings in your life, you're going to have to take the time out to do the shadow work, do the journaling work, do the meditating. Be in solitude long enough to tap into what those things are and identify them. And then you'll be better able to increase them. And if there are things that are bringing you negative emotions, you'll be better able to assess those things and decrease them in your life. So we're going to move on to the next card, which is the melting mask. I feel like we talk about wearing masks a lot, and so I'm going to read straight through this one because I already know that's what it's speaking to. Take that mask off and be your authentic self and allow yourself who you are when nobody is looking. Bring that individual out into the fold and introduce that individual into the world. It's time out for being two-faced, for living a double life. Bring all of you to whatever table you sit at. So it says number 16, again, a number 7, the melting mask. Allow your spirit self to shine through the many roles you fulfill. A role becomes a mask when it distorts, constricts, or conceals rather than reflects a true expression of our spirit self. A mask typically arises out of the ego's desire to be real and in control, when in fact it is neither. The ego, like the body and emotions, are tools. Their function, when used appropriately and proportionately, is to give authentic form and expression to your spirit self. Drawing this card signifies the impeding loss of a mask to an encounter, an event, or a circumstance that incites its melting. A period of confusion. That was the next card. Confusion, turmoil, or grief. I've been speaking on grief. I think I need to upload that video as well. Just speaking about finding the glory in grief, but that video is over on my Instagram page. I'll see if I still have it so that I can upload it on YouTube and put a card. May follow this mass disillusion. It has once served you in some way. Therefore, it is a loss that can take some adjusting to, especially if there remains a significant identification with and attachment to this mask. The featured mother wishes to assure you that the dissolution of any mask is a blessing. With time, you will begin to see that losing the image of who you thought you were or had believed that you needed to be is in fact the liberating path to experiencing all the more that you are. To support you through this time of impeding change, I told you, when I saw that number 23 breaking down to a 5, I knew this message was going to speak to some change that needed to take place. Tune into your spirit self's light, love, and stillness. Observe which roles in your life feel good, natural, and autonomous. That's taking charge of and being a good steward of that emotional energy. Ask yourself, what are my main roles at this moment? What does each one mean to me? Would I be more or less of myself without it? Would I be seen by others to be more or less without it? Such roles may include mother, daughter, friend, employee, employer, partner, student, or volunteer. Then ask, which of these roles are draining? Which are energizing? Are any fraught with drama or boring? Do any feel like masks stifling me through obligations I often resent rather than lovingly fulfill? Each of these questions that I just mentioned are excellent journal prompts. And I strongly advise that as you do this shadow work, that you take these questions, rewind the video, and make these journal prompts. You can do it all at once, or you can take it day by day and use one question per day. But this is what shadow works look like. Taking time to dive deep. And Scorpio energy is all about going into the depths to find out what these certain prompts are leading you to explore about yourself. This is a very inward focus and not external. It says, upon reviewing the answers to these questions, is there a current role that functions more like a constricting mask that you would love to lose or would be terrified of melting? Regardless of how you answer, it is important to keep in mind that you are, in essence, none of the roles you have or wish to fulfill, nor any of the restrictive masks of concealment that they may have or may turn into. At most, a role can transparently and joyously express an aspect of your spirit self. Life is always better when you know which roles are fulfilling for you. Be sure to prioritize and enjoy them wherever and whenever possible. It is so important that we only fulfill roles that fulfill us. It's important for a mask to melt once the function it had served tips into detrimentally constricting us at our highest level. We live life in cycles. Life is a circle, not a straight line. It's not as linear as we've been led to believe, that we go from one point to another. Life is very much moves in a circular motion. And sometimes the roles that we play serve their purpose, and it is time for us to move on. We've learned the lesson. We've experienced the joy. We've experienced the pain. And now it is time for us to move, ascend, elevate, transition into a new role. There are new hats for us to wear. But because we hold on, we try to hold on, keep things the same. We fight change, tooth and nail. We create more suffering in our lives. We have far more control over the suffering that we are experiencing, or that we bring on, or that we are spiritually led to experience, so that we can get to the next level in our ascension. We have far more control than we give ourselves credit for. So for somebody somewhere, it is time to let go of that role, that person that your mom depends on, or your dad depends on. It's time to draw some boundaries. It's time to let go of being that wife that the family depend, that the husband depends on, or showing up as that mother that the children depend on. If there's some way that people, let me say this, when you become other people's crutch in situations where you can feel deep down in your soul that that's not a role you're supposed to be fulfilling, but for whatever reason you fulfill it, be it to because it's what you're used to, or it strokes your ego, or you're a people pleaser and so you feel like you have to fulfill that role, you are hindering the other people in the equation from stepping out in their own independence and their own growth. So we're going to get to confusion and then close out the message with me just letting you guys know, wrapping this thing up with a pretty little bow, what ooh, that rhymed, what card is on the top of the deck and what card is on the bottom. So number 36, breaking down to an 8, which is all about abundance. When I see 8, I am reminded of what it was going to take for me to be in alignment with growth and abundance. So number 36, confusion. Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses a way through the uncertainty. At some point, we all encounter feeling at a loss as to what to do next. Our mind can become as conflicted as the advice we receive. Our emotions can polarize and overwhelm us to the point of distress, especially when the stakes seem too high to risk making a mistake. Our belief that there is a right choice or answer that will prevent all that we fear from happening can be paralyzing. We keep talking about this stuck, stagnant energy. There is somebody out there that is not making the move that they need to make and confused about why. Why am I not able to leave this situation? Why am I not able to go from seed form with my goals and my intentions to bringing them to fruition? And this message that is coming through in this reading today is giving you the answer, but you got to do the work. It says fear has the power to stop us in our tracks. There's your answer right there. At the core of it all lies fear, especially when what seems logically right is at odds with what feels emotionally safe. You have got to get out of your comfort zone. The abundance that God has for you lies on the other side of our comfort zones. For example, one choice might seem to guarantee safety and security, but feel uncomfortably compromising. In a state of distress, it's hard to get clear on what your spirit self is guiding us to do. We may feel helpless and without any available choice that feels authentic. What is best and truly possible for us is rarely as clear as hindsight reveals it to be. When we need clarity the most, it would be helpful to remember that recognizing that we do not know what to do is a necessary step in the process of realizing what to do. Acknowledging the not knowing is the way to figuring out our next authentic move and navigating a way through any bewildering predicament. A solution is not found in making one right decision, but rather the result of many small and consistent choices, actions, thoughts, and behavior changes. This is because significant problems are born of a web of threads that are not quite right for us. It requires us to dismantle, clear, and replace each thread one by one with a new and right one for us. This process of dismantling, clearing, and replacing is what significant and sustainable change and clarity are. We create our solutions cumulatively by simplifying the complexity, removing it, and deliberately choosing something else. I'm going to read that one again. Somebody need to write that on a post-it note. We create our solutions cumulatively, meaning they accumulate. We allow them to accumulate by simplifying the complexity. If there's any way that you can simplify what is causing you grief, pain, and heartache in your life, that is part of the solution. Simplify it, break it down into small bites so that you're better able to digest what you need to do, what the action items are to move forward. Then remove it. and deliberately choose something else. We always have a choice. Some of us are suffering because we just refuse to choose. We should put that on a t-shirt. Some of us just refuse to make a choice. We refuse to choose. So it says, clarity often comes at the cost of making at least one mistake, wrong turn, or failure along the way. For most, it takes making many. So get rid of that idea that things have to be perfect, that you have to be perfect. Don't let your imperfection be the thing that paralyzes you. How else you gonna move toward making progress if you just stand still and allow life to beat your ass? It don't work that way. That's suicide. That is spiritual and emotional suicide. This is how we typically learn our way forward. That's actually physical suicide, because by the time you get through standing there letting life and your emotions and people and things and circumstance beat your ass, you've developed disease, dis-ease within your body, which often shows up as cancer. In men, it shows up in the prostate. In women, it shows up in the ovaries, in the womb. It shows up in different parts of our body and as different kinds of dis-ease that kills us. We are not on a suicide mission, y'all. We are not. And we're not putting you on suicide watch. Because as a collective, we're not going to let you do that to yourself. We're going to keep showing up here every Sunday, showing up to each and every opportunity that God allows somebody or something to pour into us. And we're going to live. And I am speaking that for everybody listening. We're going to put one foot in front of the other. And we are going to move forward and through each day, getting stronger and wiser, elevating our frequency. We are not going to allow these things that have paralyzed us to kill us. I don't even know where the hell I stopped. Yes, I do. This is how we typically learn our way forward. Mistakes are preferable to remaining on the ground defeated. Failures are gifts, lanterns, if you will, illuminating our true direction. We need to know better to see and do better. That is why every perceived error is actually part of what is a correct step forward in your direction. It shows you your true way. Trust yourself. For any current confusion you are facing, place the hand that you write with on your heart and receive what knowing arises in you to do next. If part of this knowing is to seek the advice, support, or assistance from an appropriate other, do so. Do not be afraid to seek professional assistance, whether that's from me, a therapist, or a pastor, whoever. Do not be afraid to seek guidance from someone outside of yourself. Just be mindful of that individual being in alignment with what your need is. Can they really, do they have the wisdom, the knowledge, the experience, the know-how to bring forth what it is that you are needing at this time? But by all means, do not shut yourself out from opening up to help from other people. So it says the featured crone supports you in committing to take one small step at a time. What I say? We are committed to put one foot in front of the other. I love when I say some of these messages come through and confirm what I just said, because that just further lets me know that I am on the right path, that I am all of the time that I spend to be in tune with myself and be connected to the Most High is on point. And that's not to stroke my ego in any way, but sometimes it does feel like this work is in vain. And when I run across instances like this, it lets me know I'm in my bag. You know what I'm saying? So it says commit to taking one small step at a time on your terms and at your own pace as you enter into ever-increasing clarity and confidence. That is what you're seeking. When you pray tonight, when you pray today, at any point that you desire to pray, ask for clarity and the confidence to make a move. Don't just go out, run out because I said you need to make a move. Connect with the Most High for clarity and the confidence. Clarity on what move to make and the confidence to make it, and put one foot in front of the other at your own pace. to get it done. And in hindsight, as this message says somewhere up in there, you're going to see, it's going to be revealed to you just how clear the message was all along. The Crohn's message here says, when we know what we have, no idea, when we know that we have no idea what we are doing or what direction to take next, we begin to find out. We have to be in a place of unknowing and thirsting for knowledge and wisdom in order to get to a place of knowing. So the card on the top of the deck is women supporting women. And even if, and that's the number 22, which breaks down to a 4. 4s are all about stability, home. In order to gain stability in whatever situation you're in, whether you are a man or a woman, you're going to have to tap into your feminine energy. Your feminine energy to receive, to be intuitive, to be receptive and open to what is trying to come through for you. And if you have a community of women around you who can gather with you and wrap their arms around you in love and support, allow them to do so. Don't feel like you have to do all of this on your own, because the message says together we can transcend our individual limitations. If you are a male energy watching this video and you are resonating with the message that is coming through, allow the women in your life to pour into you. Go talk to somebody. Let them know what is going on with you. And don't be so in your ego that you feel like they can't tell you nothing. Listen. Ask them. Ask for help. Ask them to allow you to speak and pour from your heart. And then you shut up and you listen. And you take heed to what it is that they have to say or what support that they have to offer. Because a true divine feminine, if you're blessed to have a divine feminine in your life, she may know that she does not need to say anything. She may know that after hearing what you had to say, you just need a hug. But whatever it is, she's going to have the antidote. And if you are a woman, gather around your circle of good women friends. I thank God for my good girlfriends who I can call and they're going to tell me what it is, whether I like it or not. And they are going to show up and support me with such an energy of authenticity that I feel empowered to step out of my shadows and into the light. So the last card here, because I know this message has got to be a longer one than we normally do, but hey, it's the message that God wanted to have come forth at this very moment in time. So it doesn't matter. Another 7. So we got 3 7s here in this reading. I strongly advise that you guys research the significance of the number 7. There is some mastery meant to take place. When you step out of this scorpionic energy and having done your shadow work, you will have mastered something so profound in your spiritual being that is going to change and shift your life in a way that you can't do nothing but sit back and be like, God damn, okay, it wasn't all for nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's such an imperative lesson and energy that is coming through. And this number 7 message is circles with number 34. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. In the tarot, there is a major arcana card, which is a major life lesson, the Wheel of Fortune. And on the Wheel of Fortune, there are several of the zodiacs and several different spiritual symbolisms represented. And what I learned from my very first reading when I got the Wheel of Fortune was that card represents some change that is occurring, and that change is a divine, one being led by the divine. It is fate. It is your destiny. You can't stop it. And that the best way to ride the Wheel of Fortune is to be in the middle, to be in the eye of the storm, to stand in your safe place, in your safe dwelling where you feel at home, with witness consciousness, and witness the things that are going on around you, witness how you are feeling as they are occurring, but not to be an active participant, so much so that you are trying to fight and go against what is going on. You can't move the wheel backwards. It's going to go forward whether you like it or not. Center yourself. Get grounded. Get in the eye of the storm, because that is the safest place to be. I pray that this message found you all well, and that something was said that penetrated your mind, body, and spirit in a way that it will forever transform you on your journey, that will better help navigate this your path, and that it helps you to heal. There is a profound message of healing coming through in this message, and I just pray that you all are able to receive it and apply it. If you have any commentary you'd like to share, feel free to have some dialogue with me in the comment section. If you'd like to book a reading, you can book one at turquoisemajesty.com. I will be closing my books for the month of December so that I can do this work and also celebrate how far I've come on the journey this year. I want to close out the year with some introspection and some time to reflect and just do me. You know, I will still be here doing Soul Food Sundays, but my books will be closed for personal readers. So get in where you fit in for the month of November, or you can book for the month of January. But with all of that being said, I pray that you all have an awesome week. Peace.